this week I have been working on, as you know, uh, more work putting in trying to get us a, football field. And for those who don't know, where we work, we don't have tackle football, and so since we do flag football now, we don't have a place to play home. So we do all of our games on the road. Even the ones where we get designated to be the home team is still on the road. So on the grind, trying to get us a field, going through all of our different options. If you'd have told me 2 years ago, I'd be trying to talk to people in other states that I'll probably never meet to
Yeah.
ask them about a piece of property, I'd have told you were crazy. But here we are, and
Whatever we got to do to get it
whatever we
done.
got to do, you know, just trying
Yeah.
to give that 100%, 5% more every day. And
Possibility, 5% more
yeah,
possibility every day.
yeah.
While we're on that topic, I
So
do want to
yeah,
shout out White County for allowing us to play some home games on their field during flag football and stuff.
yeah. White
Couldn't
County
be
led us last year.
couldn't be more generous
Um,
to us.
awesome,
And
super, super nice.
yep,
Hopefully this year we're going to get maybe more than one there. With the new classifications, they've been moved up, and so we're not in the same meetings scheduling our games, so that's making it a little tougher. But hopefully after this week, we'll have a bigger or better idea of what our season's going to look like and dates and stuff. So I'll be able to get with the coach over there and see what we can do. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, working on that, working on, again, for those who don't know, with flag football, for girls being a new sport, it's growing. And some of the colleges are playing, and so they're offering scholarships. So we've got some girls that we're working on, trying to get scholarships, trying to get offers. So that's pretty much um, my, let's say, 1:30 to 3 every day has
yeah,
been the last few weeks doing that. Um, and we're making some good progress on that front too. Um, but like you said, with the field, it's just what we can do every day, and also working on sponsorships. And I think getting a field will help with that as well.
yeah. Because then we
Um,
can display those sponsors on the field and on the fence or
yeah,
whatever. I mean, obviously, the biggest hurdle to us getting this thing right now is the land because we have none because our school's built
yeah,
right on the only flat piece of land, and then it just falls off the mountain behind it. So
yeah,
we don't have anything. And even if we had a piece of property, we're still having to wait, try to figure out on a grant and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lengthy process,
yeah,
and you know, anything we can do to get them kids somewhere to play would be good. And if anybody's watching this can help or knows how to help, reach out to us because we'll take anything and everything we can to see that goal accomplished.
yeah. That's right. Because I mean, on the front end, is it just awesome to have a place to play? Sure. But a lot of our kids play multiple sports. A lot of our kids have siblings that are also playing sports. And so when we're having to play these games out of town every week or sometimes twice a week, it makes things difficult on the parents trying to drive to and from, and then there's the cost of buses and stuff like that. So um, even just having a place to play doesn't have to be anything fancy. We just need a field, and
Need a
we'll
flat
line it
flat
up.
piece of cow pasture, son.
Yeah, that's right.
Be the field in the middle of the
Yeah,
cow
so
pasture. We're good.
um, that's exactly right. Which we're not the only ones having a discussion about a field. I did see on Facebook that Warren County is having a little bit of a debate on whether or not they should get a new stadium. Right now, they play in a bowl, which is super cool. It looks awesome,
Yeah, it's
and
really
it's
sweet.
a it's
I think
a
it's just
good.
70 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, and I didn't know this until we actually went there to play. That's the middle school. So the high school does not have a field, and they actually have to bus to the field as well. So they've got cost of the bus just to play on their own field.
Yes.
Um, but the comments
I can't
are
remember what
always,
I can't remember what the price was that I was told. It
It
was
was a lot.
it was an exorbitant amount of
Yes, it
per home
was. It
game.
was a lot.
Because I'm pretty sure the band's got to be bussed over there, the football team's got to be bussed over
Yeah.
there, the cheerleaders got to be bussed over there,
Cheerleaders. Yeah. Yeah.
dance team, whatever. I don't know what all they have, but like every every kid that participates in that's got to be bussed, and that adds
Yeah.
up big time.
Yeah. Um, I guess they brought it up to either the school board, county commission, both. I'm not sure,
I
but
think it was just like
they
I think it was
brought it
just some
up.
fillers. I don't think it was ever on any agenda or anything. I think it was just like fillers of what do you want. I could be wrong. I could be
Yeah.
mistaken, but I think it was just
Yeah.
some people in the community asking school board members, and there was something in the paper down there about that the majority of school board members had no interest in the field or something like that. It's been a
Yeah.
minute
They
since
said they'd
I've
rather.
watched the Warren County since I watched that episode of Warren County Sports Authority.
Yeah. They said they'd rather spend the money on improvements to the existing stadium, which my understanding is they have. They've put restrooms on the guest side
Yeah,
and some
which
other
was
things. So
needed.
yes,
It
yes.
was a half a mile trek
So
just to go to the bathroom.
yes. Also, I believe they have a secondary entrance for the visitor side. Maybe it just wasn't open the day that we went, um, but that'd be
Yeah,
nice too.
yeah. If that
Um,
secondary entrance was open, you wouldn't have fell down the stairs.
I would not have fell down the stairs. So yeah, about that, shout out to one of our players. She knows who she is. We're walking through on their sideline, and I'm literally talking about how small the steps are. And I fall, catch myself, busted up my knees, both knees, busted up my arm. And she's the only one from our team who saw it. But to her credit, she kept it to herself and didn't say anything to anybody until I made it back over to the sideline, asked if I was okay, and then she started laughing.
Yeah, and I
So
was no
she
help at
was,
all because I was
you were,
laughing the whole time. Like I had already before you even made it to the sidelines, I had done sent you Peter Griffin falling down the stairs gif.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know,
One of our other players was like, "What happened?" I told her, and I was like, "Good." I just knew that since that happened on their side, all of them would be laughing. Nobody was laughing, and I was like, "I don't know why they weren't laughing." And she said, "Probably because of all the blood."
yeah,
She said, "Because I saw the blood and I got squeamish." So it was quite a bit. Took a while to heal up.
yeah, it was. It looked worse than I think it was, but it was still pretty bad. Like the blood
Yeah,
made it look way worse than what it was. That's what I mean.
yeah. Just the pain of hitting concrete on your knees that hurt for about a week. But we overcame and moved on. So that's what I've had going on this week. I know you've had a pretty eventful end of the week here, last 2 or 3 days. You want to fill us in on that?
Yeah, I went to the BCAT coaches clinic. If you're a basketball coach in Tennessee and you are not signed up with to be in the Basketball Coach Association in Tennessee, you should. It's a great organization to be in. You get liability insurance and all this kind of stuff for being a member. You get to take your kids to summer camp at the Hoop Fest, team camp at the Hoop Fest. It was in Lebanon this year. We did that and got to play against some good competition because we're in that organization. They advocate for things that the coaches want. Like right now, they're talking with the Board of Control and well, maybe not the Board of Control, but with the legislative council about getting a shot clock in Tennessee. I know it's been a hot commodity around for a while, and I think Kentucky just passed it just 2 days ago. I think that's going to start in 2027. That they're going to have a shot clock. And one of the comments underneath that was that Tennessee will be the last state in the union to adopt this, which was pretty funny. But
Can we take a time out real
yeah,
quick and let me ask you your opinion on that? What
yeah,
is your opinion on having a shot clock?
I am in favor of it.
Okay.
You want to know why?
Okay. Sure. I mean, as a spectator,
Yeah,
I'm for it.
yeah.
I know that there's some coaches out there that like to utilize the pass and hold. Um,
Yeah.
but as a spectator, I'm a fan of it. So as a coach, why are you a fan of it?
I think it just brings so much more strategy into the game of basketball because obviously if you can come down the floor, and now of course advocates against it are going to be like, well, just get out there and guard them, you know. Well, yes and no, but you know if you can come down and you can run a minute of offense, number one, you've taken a minute off the clock,
Yeah.
and now you know it's impossible to play defense for a minute. Like you're gonna if a team come down and run offense for an entire minute, they're going to get a good shot. Now, is that exaggerated? Yes, because most people ain't going to do that. But in high school, I think it would be a 35-second shot clock. So we're still talking about you having plenty of time to run your offense and do all this. Now we don't know if we get a shot clock if that's going to eliminate the 10-second count in the backcourt because I don't or because sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. I'm not for sure what the NFHS thing says. You know, because you've already got 35 seconds, so it's not that big of a deal. But no, I'm for it. I think it brings, like, you know, you think about, hey, there's 30 seconds on the clock, but it was deflected out of bounds. Now you've got 10 seconds on the shot clock. And, you know, advocates against it would also say, well, that's just one more thing for the referees to have to worry about, and who's going to run it and all this kind of stuff. Yes, logistic issues are going to happen with anything that you try to do and anything you try to implement. But, I mean, we played one game with it this summer at the Hoop Fest. They run a few courts with a shot clock on it. It was a complete non-factor. It never went off. Both teams had shot it well before the shot clock went off. A student sat over there and ran the thing. Now, was it perfect? No, but it was still a non-factor. You know, and of course, probably the game we played it in, it wasn't a close game, so that's probably also why it was a non-factor in that. Obviously, it's going to be a bigger factor under a minute in a single possession game because you're having to think about, do I want to go 2 for 1 here? There's 40, you know, if there's a minute left at the end of the half, do I want to go try to get a quick shot real quick, and then that way I guarantee myself another possession.
Yeah.
And also too, I think I mean, obviously, like teams are still going to foul when they're down late in the game, but you may not be so apt to foul as quickly if you know you're going to get the ball back. Like if we're down 2 points and we miss the shot and they get the rebound and it's under a minute, like we're fouling immediately because we're not going to get the ball back if we don't. So, you know that. So I think just all that kind of strategy comes into it, and I think anything to get our high school game as close to resembling the game at the next level is good for our kids. But yeah, so went to the BCAT clinic the end of this week, and you know I think like I said, if you're not a part of that organization, you should be. But the clinic's super fun. It's a great place to learn, and you know, I think the more you can learn and take in and be a sponge as a coach, the better you're going to be. Now, obviously, you can't take everything from these things and try to put everything in because that's not realistic whatsoever. But if you can just take a little bit, like a nugget or something, like a little twist or something that this guy did, or a saying this guy said, or this woman said, or whatever. You know, that's what those things are good for, and kind of see what other people do and see and you know what you do and try to tweak it and say, hey, I really like that drill or whatever. And you can put a drill in, but you know, when you're talking about a whole philosophy or whatever, you know, you can't take everything from everybody. I'll just run through some of the people that were there. Sam Purcell, the women's coach at Mississippi State, he was there. He went over a bunch of zone offense, and it was really good. Of course, we only saw 30 minutes of that because the clinic was in Nashville, and then we had some travel delays, we'll say that. And my gosh, it was a madhouse trying to get it to Belmont at
I'm sure.
at 3 o'clock. It was terrible.
Yeah.
That was the worst part. That was the worst part of it being in Nashville. It was just there's people everywhere, and it took us forever to go anywhere. But I did like that we were at the Curb Event Center because they had seat backs on the chairs. So it wasn't no high school bleachers that, you know, because usually when we go to these things, it's at high school gym and we're sitting on those bleachers for, like I was at Check Live 360 the other day. It's like at the Curb Event Center, you spent 12 hours and 48 minutes here the last 2 days. Like, you know, I mean, you sat on bleacher for 12 hours, like you're dying no matter how old you are. So the chair backs were super nice. I'm very thankful that we had some chair backs this time.
Yeah. My buddy, you get to our age and you're sitting in bleachers really for any amount of time, and it's painful.
Yeah, no,
No
it's
free shout outs. We finally broke down and bought those ones you can strap to your back like a backpack, but
yeah,
they're like foam, but they have gears to where you can crank them. And so
yeah.
they're like, like some of them you can get for like $60 a piece. We finally broke down and bought them because of volleyball, and they've been a lifesaver.
Oh yeah,
So,
and
yes,
me and the wife had those when we were going to all the volleyball games when I first
yes,
started teaching and stuff. So, but yeah, no, they're excellent to have.
yeah,
Sean Poppy from Clemson was there. He coached at UTC for 2 years before he went to Clemson.
yeah.
He was pretty good. He had some great stuff he talked about. I'll tell you the guy, and you're not going to like this, but that's okay. The guy that probably impressed me the most was Penny,
Yeah.
because I've obviously I've known him as an NBA player, and then he was coached at Memphis East and that kind of stuff. But you don't like I've never heard the guy really like speak before,
Yeah.
and he said a lot. He said a lot of great stuff. He talked about how when he got the job at Memphis, he wanted it to be ran like an NBA program to get his guys ready to go to the NBA, and that he hired all these NBA people, and like he's like everybody that he knew that Coach College told him it wasn't going to work. Well, he did it anyways, and he was like, they were right. It didn't work, and we had to get some college coaches in here. So, like, when you can admit that you were wrong about something, I just think that kind of shows a lot about stuff. But then he did have a comment, too, that when he got the job, I think it was at Memphis East, that he personally hired a nutritionist and a strength coach for his team. Now, obviously, he did preface that with like, "Hey, I know you guys can't do that. That was a luxury that I could do."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, yeah, I'm not because I looked at coach and I was like, "Come on, you got money bags over there. You can't hire a nutritionist for your team." When he said that, but no, he was really good. He was excellent. He showed he showed off a lot of great drills that I really really liked. And the next person,
Well, hold on, real quick. You said I'm probably not going to like this. I respect Penny Hardaway as a player, and had he not got injured, we're talking about him. I feel as being one of the better players in NBA history.
yeah, for sure,
Um, Probably, maybe Shaq's number two sidekick outside of Kobe.
yeah,
Um, but I just, in his coaching, have not cared for the way that he has alluded to, talked about Reverend Deacon Rick Barnes up there
yeah,
in Knoxville. That's my only. Anytime you talk bad about anybody with the University of Tennessee, the flagship university of the state of Tennessee, uh, you're dead to me. So basically, is what I'm saying.
yeah.
That
You can
goes for
see
Gino Auriemma
you
too.
guys can see from my face that I've heard this before, so it's like
That goes for Gino.
get on your
That
soliloquy.
goes that goes to Steve Spurrier. When he used to say you can't spell Citrus Bowl without UT. And that goes for Penny Hardaway too. So
Oh, there you go.
there you go. Anyway,
So then we got to watch the Belmont women's practice with their head coach Bart Brooks.
very cool.
He's excellent. He's fantastic. Everything he does is great stuff. So it's really cool to be able to go see a college team practice. Of course, one of the cool things is that all these guys talk about. They're like, hey, anytime you want to watch a practice or anything, like we're open door. Just
Yeah.
tell us, show up. Of course, I love to go watch and do that kind of stuff because I'm always trying to learn and always trying to be better and always trying to get better stuff for my kids.
Yeah.
And but I'm also not going to drive to Belmont on a random day to watch them practice. So it was really cool that we get to see this stuff. I mean, typically I don't really like the team practice stuff too much, but all three of the team practices we watched this week were really really good. And then the Belmont boys did their team practice after the women's team, and lots of good information in that. Like Belmont's got a bunch of big old kids and shooters everywhere. They're gonna be really good this year in whatever the Valley, Missouri Valley Conference, what they're
Yeah,
in.
they they historically are good, and
Yeah.
it's Casey Alexander, right? Is the head coach there
Yes.
now? Came over
Yes.
from Lipscomb. Yeah,
From Lipscomb, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we watched his Lipscomb team come to a practice years ago at one of the camps before he took the Belmont job, and I thought he was excellent then.
yeah. Because the coach that he took, Rick Bird.
Yeah, Rick Bird. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was Rick
See,
Bird is who he took
I
over
can
with.
showcase a little bit of basketball
Yeah, there you go.
knowledge.
You're
Look at
good. Yeah,
that.
you got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that was usually you go to you go to these clinics and there's always like that the one person or whatever you're like, oh my gosh, like because like, all these people are like great coaches, but sometimes they're not great presenters.
oh sure,
I mean that's obviously that's not what they do, but everybody here was just solid. I wouldn't say there was anybody that was like great, like fantastic, but like everybody was solid. Because some of the best people I've ever heard speak at one of these things, like Kevin Eastman with the Boston Celtics, he was fantastic. Coach Neighbors, formerly of Arkansas, he's always fantastic when he comes to these things. He's been there twice, and like if he's on the agenda, like I'm going. I think he's an assistant coach for the LA Sparks now, but he's awesome. He's fantastic. But no, everybody that was there was just really really solid, and they were and it was very very knowledgeable for everybody there. Then on Friday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning, early start, had UTC coach Dan Earl there, and he talked about some offense defense stuff, but mostly they just coming off the winning the NIT, huge for a program like Chattanooga
yeah.
to do. I thought he was fantastic and everything that he talked about too. And the next one I'll talk about is Coach Harper from Jacksonville State. And
Yeah.
we met him at the coaches social that night before at the restaurant. For those of you who don't go to BCAT and don't know go to the clinic, don't know what the coaches social is, it's just at a restaurant. Usually it's like B-Dubs or something like that, but it was at Sliders this year in Nashville. And they give away a doctor. They give away a doctor dish, which is a shooting machine. So like what we have in the gym, but like a bigger, better model. And you just got to be there to sign up. Of course, we never win it, but we still, when you can get a $15,000 shooting machine, you're going to go sign up just in case you win the thing. But so we're sitting there eating, and he walks in, and I'm like, "Do you think?" I looked at Coach and I said, "Do you think this is the guy that was still there when the Fighting T-Browns worked down there at Jacksonville State?" And I was like, "I think it is." And I was like, so I looked it up, and I was like, "Yeah, sure is." And then I was like, "If he comes back over here, I'm going to ask him if he knows who T-Brown is."
Yeah.
And he's just dying laughing. I'm like, "Oh, I'm for real. I'm not ever going to get to talk to him again." So he come back over there, and I asked him, and he was like, he kind of stared at me for a minute, and he's like, "Yeah, he wasn't there very long, was he?" I said, "I'm not real sure. I don't think he was, but he could have been. I don't know." And then he kind of stood there and thought another minute, and then he looked at me and said, "He was our SID, Sports Information Director, by the way."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, I do remember him. He was the sleepingest son of a gun I've ever met in my life." Is what he said about him, and with other language, obviously, but
Yes.
but no, I mean, I died laughing at that because that sounds like I don't know him as the sleepingest person ever. I just know him as taking days off, So
Yeah.
but T Brown I did call him, or he called me, and I did tell him this story. And to elaborate, he said, "Yeah, I was sleeping because I was up till 3 a.m. writing for the website. So yeah, I'm asleep at 1 o'clock." He's like, "That's not my job to go to practice." Because that's that one of the he asked his roommate who went to practice all the time. Coach Harper did, asked him if he said, "Where's our SID at? Shouldn't he be here like taking pictures or something to put on Twitter or some crap?" And he's like, "He's asleep." And he's like, "My God, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon." That was so. But he was a hoot. He was a good time. He also I think he was my favorite presenter, other than Penny, at the whole thing. Mostly because I guess we kind of had a little personal chat there, but at the restaurant that night. But I mean, he come out there and he was the person I took the most notes about, and he just rambled on. I got a bunch of good little quick hitters and quick hitter sets from him that we're going to use. And I think the biggest reason that I liked his stuff the most is because most of these people come here and like they don't really talk about post play too much. So it's kind of hard for me to try to find stuff to get because I'm not the most creative person. I steal almost everything that I have, as all coaches do. I mean, we steal from each other. That's okay. Of trying to get my post player easy looks and catches. So all of his stuff was to get a shooter a look and to get the post a look. And I've got shooters everywhere, and I've got a 6'3" post player. So everything he
Yeah.
talked about, I wrote it down, and we're probably going to put some of those in because they're just boom boom and open.
Yeah.
So he was great. And then we got to watch Rick Insel and the MTSU women's practice, and that was really cool.
Okay.
They've got a girl on that team that's 6'10".
Yeah.
She is massive.
One of one of the new students that we have that is maybe going to be playing basketball and flag football showed me a picture of her the other day, and I was, wow.
Yeah, yeah. She's huge.
Yeah.
Like she was taller than any boy that was or any dude that was on the Belmont's men's team. The tallest they had was 6'9".
Yeah.
She was huge. Like I don't, but so they've got some of the best things from that was mostly Rick just talking about, or Coach Insel talking about just like,
And y'all on a first name basis now.
well, not really. I've never met the guy, but I do
Me
know a
and
lot.
Rick,
I do know a lot. I do know a
we're
lot of
down
his
there at
family,
Sliders.
and I'm on. Well, no, Rick wasn't at Sliders. They come up from Murfreesboro, but I do know a lot of his family because they show horses and stuff. So I am kind of know his kid, one of his sons and that kind of stuff, who coaches the Tennessee flight team or organizes the flight team or the flight silver, the AAU EYBL stuff. But so he's like, we had a lot of questions asking about, got a bunch of foreigners on our team. Like, how do we communicate with them? Because they've got a girl from Spain, that 6'10" girl's from Spain. They got a girl from Taiwan on the team, and then they said they've got one that's not joined the team yet because she couldn't get over here, but she's from I don't know, Europe somewhere, and they got another one that's from Europe. And he's like, so they're he's like, get that question all the time, like how do we communicate with them? Got all these foreigners out here, and he's 70 years old, so he sounds exactly how you think he would sound. And he's like, I just tell them they got to learn to speak Woodbury. And and that cracked me up. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I learned to speak Woodbury.
Yeah.
Woodbury. They know
Woodbury.
D Woodbury. So that was a good time, and and I really actually did like his practice a lot because he was a high school coach at Shebville Central for years, won 10 state championships, I think. He said when I got hired at MTSU, he's been there for 21 years, I think, at MTSU now. He's like, he's like all the people, he's like the president or the chancellor, whatever he said, the AD, they all said, hey, this stuff you run in high school ain't going to work here. And he's like, well, I'll tell you this, I'm just going to be Rick Insel. And he said, I do everything the same way I did here as we did in high school. And I mean, multiple conference USA championships. And he's it worked. Kind of the opposite of the penny thing. It didn't work, and he changed it. And Rick's Coach Ensel's worked, and he didn't change it.
I think the question that I want the answer to the most about this trip that y'all have taken is when you got to the hotel room, did you have separate beds, or was y'all having to share one on top of the sheet, one under the sheet? How did y'all figure that out?
We had 2 queen beds, sir.
Okay. I know I was giving you a hard time about that beforehand. I was like,
we had 2 queen beds. I'd have slept on the floor.
Yeah. All right, good deal. Well, as you know, you were out, so you had a sub, and I was unaware of who the sub might be. And with me not feeling that well, I pretty much stayed in my room, outside of my bus duties that I had to do. So, um, but yeah, hey, there's something happening tonight. Not to change the subject, but there's something happening tonight that I don't know that we've ever discussed. Something called WrestlePalooza is happening tonight,
Yeah, we've never talked about
and
wrestling.
this is where wrestling WWE is with a partnership with ESPN
ESPN.
now, and so they are having a live event tonight on ESPN, um, making wrestling about as mainstream as it could possibly be. I guess now, I'm not gonna lie, I watched before we started this. That's what I was doing. I was watching that. Um, they got Pat McAfee on there.
Yeah, well, it's also weird
They
for wrestling to
got
be on a Saturday night, other than I guess like WrestleMania is usually like on a weekend.
yeah, so they're what they call them PLEs. Used to as pay per views, but now they call
Yes.
them PLEs, premium live events. And they've been doing them streaming on Peacock. So they've been on Saturdays.
Okay.
WrestleMania is a 2-day event, so it goes Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Um, but this one being on ESPN, they had a really good match the first one, so I was watching that whenever you messaged me. It had just finished, but just something cool I thought I'd mention. I mean,
Yeah. No, that's I
yeah,
mean
that's big.
it's
That's
big time
big
for it to be
time.
on ESPN for sure.
Yeah. So the ESPN's got this new app
Yeah.
that you can pay $30 a month for. But if you don't already know this, if you have Hulu and the Disney bundle, you're already getting that, so you don't have to pay any extra. Um, so a couple weeks ago, we had some questions from our girls, and last week, one of the girls asked me to ask a question, and then we didn't film last week. So I'm going to present this question to you first. Let
Was
you
it
answer,
a
and then I'll
question just for
answer.
me or for both of us?
It was for both of
Okay.
us. But you don't know what this question is. I haven't told you, so that's why I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay.
And obviously, we won't mention any names.
Yeah.
But the question was, have you ever gotten mad or gotten into it with another coach?
No. I don't, not that I can not that I can recall.
Okay.
I mean, like I've been mad, but I've never gotten into it.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm just a chill guy. Like
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
not like I'm not like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna make a fool of myself in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
to get into it. Now I've been mad
Right. Yeah.
when we went to, this was 2 years ago, when we went to the little place named something Creek north of
Hmm.
Chattanooga to
Yeah.
a Christmas tournament, and we got second place. I didn't intentionally leave the second place trophy there, but I don't do second place trophies. But it was an accident that I left it.
Yeah.
Well, them jokers brought it to me before we played the region semifinal game and gave it to me. And I didn't
Mm.
like that. I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I was a little mad. And
Yeah.
then, we beat them by a lot. But no,
Yeah.
I've never really gotten into it. I mean, I don't even really get into it with officials. I've been teed up one time. Like it's just not worth all that. I try to control my emotions as much as possible. Control what you can control, because and I preach that to the kids. So when I get out of control, then I'm not sending the right message. I'm not doing the right things. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
I've been mad, and some of the kids probably know who I've been like mad at.
Yeah.
But right off the top of my head, I can't really think of anybody that's really done anything crazy that I've been mad about or held a grudge about or anything kind of like that. Years later or anything. But I get it. I mean, I try to
Yeah.
be. I mean, being a coach is like you try to make connections and have good relationships with everybody, because at the end of the day, like we got to ask these guys for film. Or these,
Yeah.
these we got to ask everybody for film, and like you got somebody that don't like you, they ain't gonna send you the films. I mean, and anybody, if any other coach that I play against or anybody else is watching this, like if we play somebody and you need film on them, I'll send it to you. I don't care. I'll send it to anybody. I don't care. I don't care
Yeah.
if you play this team on Tuesday and we play you on Friday. I'll send you my film. You know why? Because they're going to get film on me anyways. And we don't do
Yeah.
anything special or crazy that you're gonna, oh, he's calling thumbs down right here, like this is what we're, no, brother, ain't none of that. So it doesn't even matter. You're gonna be able to see what defense and that kind of stuff and kind of what our tendencies are and who our shooters are, but you're still not gonna get any tails because we just don't really, I mean, my kids can't even remember the names of the plays, much less the plays. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you go ahead and answer, and I'm trying to think, and I'll think, and I'll see if I have anything
Well,
to add.
the only scenario I have is from last year, and there was a little animosity going on between me and another coach, and I don't even think it was initially directed at me. I think it was directed at kind of the leadership of the district. I think that's where it started, and it just kind of came out on to me a little. But the funny thing about it is we've got a couple of girls that used to go to that school, and so they're talking to their friends, and their parents are talking, and you know, you know how kids are,
Yeah,
and so it got said that I said that they didn't want to play us because we would beat them, and that's why basically there was rainouts, and so we were trying to reschedule. It got said that I said they didn't want to reschedule because we were going to beat them. And so when we finally were able to reschedule, I meet the coach on the field. We're shaking hands. This is right after an incident, and I
right after he fell down
said,
the stairs.
uh, right after a penalty, and I said to him, I said, "Hey, buddy, I just want to clear the air. I never said. I know there's been a lot of talking back and forth. I never said y'all didn't want to play us because y'all were going to lose to us. I never said that. What I did say was y'all didn't want to play us because y'all were afraid y'all were going to lose to us. That's what I said. I said, so I just want to make sure that we were clear on what Hall said.
I mean,
But
how's that any different?
well, it's different. It's different. Like I'm
Yeah, I
not
mean,
going to
if
say
you
you're
say
going to lose.
so.
I'm saying you're. It's one thing to say, oh, you're going to lose. It's nothing. Oh, you're just afraid you're going to lose. You know.
Well, I
So
didn't even know you had this conversation with the guy. So
yeah, I did.
that's new to
Yeah, I
me.
did. Yeah, I did. I was like, hey, I just want to clear. I never said y'all were going to lose. I just said y'all were afraid you were going to lose, and I stand by that. Like, not wanting to reschedule, get dates. That's the only reason you wouldn't want to reschedule a date.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
um, yeah, no, that's the only one that I can think of. I've gotten mad, not gotten into it. Some of those meetings we've been in, and I've just sat there and been like, "What are we talking about? What are we doing?" But other than that, I also want to address. Oh, did you think of anything?
No, I mean, I have a few other things to say, but I still can't think. I mean, I have like coaches that I don't necessarily like, but like getting into it with them, no. Like, because sometimes
Yeah, I
they're
mean, it's not
like,
gonna solve anything.
no, it's not, but like, I mean, mostly the reason I don't like them is because like, they're crazy over the top, or they're like, their voice is annoying, those kind of
Yeah.
things, or they're super loud, or they like stomp, like
Yes.
little
Yeah.
things like that. Like it's not, and like I mean, I still,
I've seen you leave a meeting because somebody was being kind of like that. So
yeah, I mean, like, and I'm like, and outside of, um, outside of like coaching against them, like they're fine. Like I can talk to them, have a conversation, it's fine.
yeah.
And I didn't, and also when you have like a rivalry with somebody, like it's still kind of like I didn't always like this one coach that I had to play against, or that we had to coach against all the time. This is the one thing that I cannot deal with. And if you ever see me doing this, like crazy, like come and slap me, like on the sidelines. Like, do coaches any coaches who complain constantly about officiating
Oh yeah.
and about just their kids getting fouled all the time or
Yeah.
whatever? Because I mean, you've watched a lot of games that we've played.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
try not to be on the officials whatsoever. They already got a hard enough job. Like I said, I just told you I've only had one technical as a high school coach. I had one as a middle school coach. But like, when is a high school coach in 10 years? Like, I'm not, once again, control what you can control. I can't control what they're calling. It's just that's
Yeah.
that's outside of my control. So, I try to 100% preach that to our kids. Then I have to be, echo of that, because if I'm upset about the officiating, then I can't properly coach my kids because I'm focused on their decision making instead of the decision making that I need to be making and the decision making that our kids need to be making. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because, like, some people just get like so irate with the officials that they go like, they see red for
Oh
like
yeah.
2 or 3 minutes and they can't, it's just, and then like, of course, then you see, then you sometimes, it's like how you are as a coach, most times how your kids are going to be.
Yeah,
Like,
because they see you do it,
because
and
they
they're
see
like,
you do
"Oh, it's
it.
okay."
Yeah, and so they see it. They see that well, that's okay. He's doing it. So, and so I try to be a good example and not do that kind of stuff. Like I
Yeah.
said, I get upset at officials every now and then, but like, still, I'm never going to be like over the top berserk. The only time that I've ever been super like crazy at an official was when we was playing at the Fighting T Browns, and this girl punched one of my kids in the face during the game,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no call, right in front of a referee, like
Yeah.
cold cocked her, boom, and I was like, so I was a little hot because obviously I'm going to protect my
What
kids.
was she like trying to like punch the ball out, or she was just straight going
I
for
think
a
she was just
punch?
mad. I think they were like fighting over the ball or something, and then she kind of got her. And I had a kid, I had a girl, my second year that got this girl just flat out kicked her right in the chest during the game, like fighting
Mm.
over a loose ball or whatever, and she just boom, just kicked at her. Once again, no call with that. Like,
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that I'm not going to be cool with, because I'm going to protect my kids, or try to,
Right.
you know.
Right. Well, I think you're 100% right. I mean, we've seen it in all sports. I've had a firsthand look at it the last few weeks here with volleyball. Um, the referees do deal with a lot. We all know that there's a shortage on referees, and so that's why there is already a stressful situation. But I will say, the last 2 3 years watching you and Coach Sullivan, um, I think y'all both do a really good job of when the officials call a foul and your player looks over at you like, and then y'all will say, "I've seen both of y'all do. You did
Yeah.
it." You know.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, I mean, that's
um,
like, once again, I'm going to be honest with my kids. Like, because
yeah,
you've seen other coaches like, oh, you didn't foul him. He slapped him across the face on a layup. Like, come on, bro.
yeah,
Like, don't be so, like, don't be like that. Like, if a kid fouled,
yeah,
I'm going to tell them they fouled. Yeah, you fouled him.
yeah,
And I don't care, because, one of them's all the time, well, I didn't touch her. Brother, they blew the whistle. If they blew the
yeah.
whistle, it's a
They're not,
foul. It doesn't matter.
yeah,
They
they're
made that
not taking it
decision.
back.
It's
Yeah,
got to be next play mentality. Get over it. They called it.
yeah,
Whoopity doo dah. Do a better job.
yeah.
Don't put yourself in that kind of position to get a foul call.
Right. Yeah.
But,
No, that's right. Uh, it's a tough job. I don't know that I would want to do it. Um,
no.
I
And,
just,
like, and I think that's one of the reasons too that I'm not super hard on them, because like, I've officiated before, like, not high school
mhm,
games, but I've refereed youth league and like some youth league games in Bledsoe, where I'm from,
mhm,
and actually refereed a whole season of like these high school church games, um,
yeah,
and it's hard. It
yeah,
is not an easy thing to do. Officiating is
yeah,
hard, and it doesn't matter.
yeah. It
And the
is.
thing is, it doesn't matter what you call or what you do. There's going to be somebody that's upset, and it's
Yeah,
just the way it is. So I try not to be upset, because
yeah.
it doesn't matter,
Right.
And of course too, and
No, you're right.
and I know, like, referees are human. Okay, I know that and I don't know from personal experience. I have no idea. A lot of them probably aren't like this, but if I'm a jerk 24/7, all the time. Do you don't think these officials come in here knowing that I'm a jerk and
Oh
are going to
yeah.
be? Yeah, I mean, it's human nature to be like, oh my gosh, this guy. You know,
Got to watch out for him.
got to watch out for him and
Yeah.
like just don't be a jerk. They're doing
Yeah.
the best they can. They're humans. Get over it.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal at the end of the day.
Yeah. I thought last year when we the first official flag season, I thought all the officials, maybe minus one game, um, were very accommodating to the fact that hey, we're all learning, they're learning,
Yeah.
and instead of them like getting on to us for things or getting on to the girls for things, it was kind of like a coach them up kind of mentality. And so I enjoyed that. They always explain things.
Yeah. Now I will say,
So
and
I thought last year
I will
was
say too that like we have like for basketball and for football, like because the same assigner does both for us.
yeah.
Like we have a great referee association. Like I
Mhm.
mean, I would say it's one of the best in the state for
Yeah.
basketball. So it does make it a little easier because you get a little spoiled playing at home, and then you got to go south and play with a different association, and
Yeah.
it's always officiated differently. It's always odd. So that's a
Right.
tough thing to deal with. Because you would wish that it would be more universal across the state, but it's never going to be because
Yeah.
when you're having to referee, Chattanooga versus refereeing Cookeville area,
Yeah.
the players are different, the environments are different. Everything's going to be a little different. But I will say that we've got we've got some of the best officials in the state of Tennessee in the Upper Cumberland. North Central.
Yeah.
That's our refereeing association, and
Yeah.
no, they're great, and I'm happy that we get to pull from them, for sure.
Yeah. One more thing on the topic of kids before we start talking about Vols football. Um, our last episode we talked about fundraising and about how um, no one prepares you that first year you're teaching, coaching, whatnot, for the amount of fundraising. And so wanted to touch that topic again because since our last episode, I've had a few kids come and one thought we were talking about them, or B, were scared to ask about their latest fundraiser because they thought Mr. Hall was going to be upset. And so to them, I say it was a general conversation about something that I didn't know before I knew any of the kids. So there was no kid in mind. It was about more things you don't know. When you first start teaching, you don't know that you're going a month or two without whatever it is without your first paycheck. And then two, don't ever be afraid. Right, worst you're going to hear is no.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that can
Especially when it
happen is
comes,
somebody tells you no when you're trying to
yeah,
sell something. That's it.
yeah. So
That's the
don't
worst thing.
let TSAT lecturing Mr. Hall about saying no deter you from asking him to buy Little Debbie's. Um, so I wanted to talk about that. So basically, I have this. There's a senior, and I promised her last year when my other senior graduated. I was like, "You're my go-to." So I hadn't heard from her for the Little Debbie's, and my favorite snack in the world is the granola bars, chocolate chip granola bars. And so I
The fudge
said,
dipped or the plain ones?
"No, plain ones. Fudge
Oh,
dip's too much,
oh, the
too
fudge
much."
dipped ones are the best.
Uh, so I told her I was like, I haven't seen her. So I told my daughter I was like, "Hey, message that girl and tell her to come see me." So she came to see me, and I was like, "Hey, orders are due Monday." Me and you were privy to the senior stuff because we're senior sponsors. So I was like, "Orders are due Monday. Why would you ask me to order?" She said, I'm afraid to." And I was like, "Why are you afraid to?" I watched you and Sap's podcast, and I was like, "Don't put me down for 3 boxes of the granola bars."
3 boxes.
Well, I'm going to get them anyway. My daughter eats them. I
I
eat
know. I'm
them.
just giving you a hard time. You don't know how many
Yeah.
boxes of Little Debbie's I ordered?
I know you used to buy a lot from. She's graduated. I'll say her name. You used to buy a lot from Ashland.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know how many I bought
How
this
many did
year?
you order this time? How many?
Guess.
Um, 6.
6. That's
Was it
correct.
6?
It was 6. Now guess what I got? Now guess what I
Your
got?
oatmeal cream pies.
Yep, 2 boxes of those. Got to have that Nick
Fudge
Saban.
rounds.
Got to have that Nick Saban breakfast. Yep, 2 boxes of those.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, nutty bars,
No,
nutty buddies. Yeah. Um, zebra cakes.
no, I do love zebra cakes, but no, I didn't get zebra cakes
Yeah.
because
What's the last one?
they used to not sell them
Yeah.
in the big packs years ago. I guess I don't I didn't even look.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, Swiss rolls.
Swiss cake rolls, baby.
Yeah. I know it was the
That's
Swiss
it.
cake rolls. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is terrible timing here because I've lost 9 pounds doing my walking every
Yeah.
day and
Yeah.
my watching what I'm eating and all that, and then I'm getting 6 boxes of Little Debbie's. So I'm probably about to gain 9 pounds back again. But I got on the scale this
No,
morning. I weighed
I,
181 pounds.
yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I've been trying to eat better and drink better, not minus the monsters, of course, but um,
I am
I'm
not
gonna
trying to
get those
drink
little
better.
Debbie's.
7 a day.
Yeah. Yeah. No free shout outs.
No free shout outs. This is just it's
But
just a can.
we're planning our we're going to Florida here in 3 weeks, and my wife is like, "What's I don't want to stop that much on the way down. She's like, what snacks?" I'm like, "Well, there's got to be the granola bars, because if I was on a deserted island and they were like, you can have water and one thing, it would be those granola bars. That's just I love them. So um,
I mean, they are good. I do prefer the fudge dipped ones better though.
when I was a kid, I preferred the fudge dipped, but now I'm older. I
Yeah.
don't,
I'll tell you,
it's a
little
little too
Debbie.
much.
I'll tell you, little Debbie, that I used to eat all the time, and I can barely. I never really see it around anymore. But I did see them yesterday, and those are those pecan spin wheels.
That is my wife's favorite.
I used to eat those so much as a kid.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
my mom liked the cosmic brownies, so we'd have those. But
Oh yeah.
not a big fan of them. But I would eat them because
Yeah.
they're there. So
Now, if we get out of the granola bar and we're talking just the little Debbie, I'm with you on the oatmeal cream pie. Nick Saban is on to something with the oatmeal cream pie. It's fantastic.
speaking of Nick Saban,
Um,
I was watching Game Day this morning,
yeah.
and I had to write this quote down. And I'm going to tell my kids this quote because it was fantastic. And he was asking, what's the coach's name at Miami?
Mario Cristobal.
Yeah, Mario Cristobal. He's like, hey, how do you they talking about the success of the program and all this kind of stuff, and he said, if you're infected with success, if you think anything you have done in the past is going to affect what you're going to do in the future, and I was like, my kids need to hear that because you've already said it on here, that bad voodoo that they're speaking out into the world, into the atmosphere, and I'll also
Yeah.
segue into this. I was at the coaching clinic, and I walked up to Coach Fish. He was there. He's Warren County's boys coach, and I was talking to him for a second, and he had an assistant there next to him that I had never met before, and he was like, he introduced me, and he said, this guy right here is going to win a state championship this year. And I said, I wish people would stop saying that. I'm like, what we did last year means zero to
That's right.
to anything this year. Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Well,
sports is a what have you done for me lately type of thing. And it
yes.
means nothing.
Yes.
Nothing. It doesn't matter. And I
The
really
coach
do
at
wish
Georgia Tech quoted.
that people
Yeah,
would stop
I
saying
know.
it.
The coach at Georgia Tech last week, they beat Clemson, and they asked him about, can the guys handle that success for the next game, whatever. And he quoted Nick Saban and said, Coach Saban used to say, I'm probably going to butcher it, but he was like, more people die
Yeah,
coming down from Mount
yeah,
Everest than going up.
yeah. More people die on the climb
So,
down from Mount Everest than they do climbing up. Yep, that's
yeah.
exactly true.
So that's another lesson for your girls is, yeah, last year was great. Y'all had a lot of success.
It's harder to be on
But
top of the mountain than it is to climb it. Of course,
yeah,
our middle school boys coach, he keeps saying all the time, he's like, y'all gonna be the hunted this year, and I said predators can't be prey, son, because that's the mentality you got to have. You
yeah.
know
But yeah,
that's
it's hard to stay on top, right?
yeah, that's a sapism right there. Predators can't be prey. So like we've got to have that. We're hunting people. We got to have that mentality,
Yeah,
and you can't be.
yeah.
And is everybody going to be? And I've told, even when we didn't have the success that we've had this past year, just going to the state tournament, like when we play the teams that we play in the valley and down towards Chattanooga and in our district and stuff, like, I've told about every team I've ever had, this is like, we're their Super Bowl. Like, you're going to get the best of them every single time we play them because they want to beat you.
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't want to, it's not that my kids don't want to beat them or whatever. It's just that they want this game a lot. So we can't be coming into it because we've beat this team by X amount 2 weeks ago. Because once again, nothing you've done in the past is going to help you do anything in the future. So it's been that mentality for me from the beginning, from the get-go, of it doesn't matter what happened the year before. I mean, obviously you want to build upon what you did, but you can't be relying on it. Because I've already told the girls this too, because like Moore County, for instance,
Yes.
they're in the exact same situation that we are in right now. They won state runner-up, didn't lose a single kid, and lost in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Like they are in the exact same position that we are
I
in.
was just fixing to say that.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
I was just fixing to bring them up because your girls told me that.
because I told
So
them
they're
that.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're listening.
Well, hopefully it's resonating inside the noggin and not in one ear and out the other.